I want to kind of transition into another topic with the youth, and it's about our black males who are not, I guess, participating in higher education at a rate that they used to. So when we look at statistics, the decline of black men in college is a serious problem. Now, I'm going to go way, way back on this one. I think it was 1976. Now, keep in mind, wasn't that many black people graduating high school at that time, but black folks cared about college back in the day, like a lot. And in 76, 69% of black males who graduated high school enrolled in college. Did they go? Did they finish? Whatever. I don't know. But they enrolled. They at least had that as a goal, right? In 2020, 36% of black males enrolled in college. Okay, out of all black men who graduated high school.
Wow.
Now, just to put that into perspective, because I'm gonna say back in the 70s, you had to get your diploma. You wasn't. They don't like today. They'll give you a diploma. Did you go to school? Yep. Go ahead, get on out of here. Like you had to earn it, right? Yeah. And because they had to earn it, they felt like, hey, I can move further with this. I have some capabilities that I'm good at this. I finished, and now I want to go to that next step and at least try.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't know, man. I don't think that they're motivated because we don't instill in them a value behind the education that they get, and we let them just graduate just because they show up, or you missed all your classes. Just come in on this Saturday and then you get an A.
Yeah,
right.
You know, so to me, it's an alarming trend, man. There's a rising cost of college. That could be another consideration. Black men going to prison. Now you can go to college in prison. We all know that,
Yes.
but usually when you start off a life of crime like that and you end up going to prison, some people, the majority of people in prison ain't trying to go to college, right? Let's just get it real. And then the admission process, like the racism and discrimination around just that in itself. Like you can put your stuff in and not even get picked, versus a white person or an Asian person or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think one of the big things is like the millennials just have a different mindset, man.
Different mindset.
They do. And who did they get that mindset from, though? So let's talk about that. Our generation had one of the highest percentages of teen pregnancy. So are we, and most of us ended up as single parent. So how do I raise a black man? I don't have a man in me.
Right.
I don't. So did I instill in my son to go to college as hard as I pushed for my black daughter to go to college? I think I did, but when I look at the statistics, are we doing that? It seems like we're focused. The black woman is the highest percentage of educated right now.
Yep.
Why? Because we catered to our daughters. We made it easier for our daughters. We supported our daughters. We're not, you're a man, you got to go out there and do it. You're a man. And that's just the reality of it. And even in my case, like my parents, my associate's degree, my dad paid for. My two older brothers don't have degrees. My oldest brother has a trade, but he got that through the Army. And my little brother, he got his education through the Air Force. So they paid for mine. But do I remember seeing my dad or hearing my dad pushing my older brothers to go to college? No. It was, Tina, you have to go to college.
And I think that we are starting to recognize and act on some of the disparities that we have out there as a country. And everybody knows what the statement, the glass ceiling, means.
Yes.
So we all know that our black women are put at a disadvantage.
Yes.
And so I think because of that, we are prone to push our black women into education because we want them to have, because we know that as black people, we need to have more education. We need to have more understanding. We need to have more skills to get to the same jobs and the same level of wealth as our white counterparts. So I think that term glass ceiling and that type of conversation made us kind of push, or made our parents push our black females to get those educations.
Yeah, and because it was happening at the turn of women's lib too. You know, we didn't have a right to go to school at one point. We didn't have a right to vote at one point. So when that whole movement went, our parents, especially black parents, because they were already enslaved. You know, they already lived through all of that. Now their girls have rights. So push, 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 push. And that's probably one of the reasons why we see such an influx of higher educated black women. And as far as the millennials go, and whatever this next gen is called, I can't keep up. The popularity of social media. Look at how quick schemes they're out there, and how they're promoting. You know, if you do so many TikToks and you get to this, you'll start making money. Yeah, you will, but what did these people really have to do it? Some of them were overnight sensations, but that's only less than 1%. You know,
Yeah, not even 1%.
Yeah, lightning in a
less
bottle.
than
There's-
1%. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah, social media plays a lot into that. A lot of these kids think that they can do something. It could be simple as I'm open up a store and start selling clothes on the internet, and you know I can do that and make money. And it's also a drive. You know, it's just like I think that a Generation Xers like us, being raised by baby boomers, we just have a drive that's common with us that like, all right, you know, I'm gonna go out and get this on my own. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna achieve something. A lot of times with the millennials, they're dreaming a little bit more on, hey, one day I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. They're not concerned on the steps to get there. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people do something, and you know, like let's take Zuckerberg or whatever. He came up with Facebook. You know, he's rich for the rest of his life. He was actually in school learning that. They're learning that trade, but they don't look at that part. They look at, hey, you know what? If I do this or I come up with this, then I'll be rich. If I do a TikTok video, I'm gonna be rich or whatever the case may be, or I'm gonna be okay with money.
Right.
When we kind of were like, all right, you know, I want to get out of my mama's house.
I don't want to follow the rules.
So I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to the military, I'm gonna do something till I'm gonna eventually get there. A lot of millennials is like, I'm good being in my mom's house. You know what I'm saying? And I can DoorDash or I can TikTok because they're not worried about the like getting a house or
They're not the big picture,
getting
the
a car
future,
or having a family or anything like
generational
that.
wealth.
You know, it's funny because I've had conversations and they say, well, these kids, you know, they don't care about having kids and family and all that. They want to stay in the house for the rest of their life. Life don't work like that.
Yeah.
I say sooner or later they're gonna like somebody. They're gonna end up having a kid, and they're gonna have to grow up.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Everybody would love. Hey, I just want to be able to, you know, chill and stay at home and be on the internet all day and just do this and then wake up when I want to and eat Hot Pockets when I want to. You know what I'm saying? So, and you know, not to get off topic, but I think the black male has kind of fell into that get rich quick scheme of success. Hey, I can rap and make it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can do TikToks and make it. I can come up with an internet business and make it. What do I need school for? Then they also say, hey, I don't want to be in debt. And I understand that. That's a good thing. But do something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do something. And don't be satisfied with some menial job. Like, because some of them are just work. I'm good and I'm working. But, dude, you going to check bags at HEB for the rest of your life? Like,
Right.
at least strive to get into management or something. It's just, there's, to me, there's a missing link on what they're going to be doing over the next, 20 years or 10 years or whatever. They're not looking at that. And they're not understanding the value of where they are now in their youth, if they can get that education. One way or the other, either working education through a company, either going to college
Or
a trade school, going to the military. I'm not encouraging the military, but some of y'all need to do something. So going to the military, you know what I'm saying? something. And it's just a big void when it comes to, I have too many people that got, males in their 20s that are aimlessly just roaming around this world trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I was an aimless 20-year-old at one time. You know what I'm saying? But gotta have some kind of purpose, man. Because I went to the military. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of figured it out as I went on.
So did you talk to your children about your struggle and yeah? See, a lot of Black people we don't like to talk about our faults or the mistakes we've made in life. So we don't discuss that. I discuss it with my kids all the time. Like, you didn't come with an instruction book. You different than him. What worked on you for discipline didn't work on this one for discipline. We don't talk about stuff like that. And I constantly tell my kids, don't be like me. Don't be like me. This is the mistake I made. If I had known back then what I know now, you need to start building generational wealth now. You need to get an education by whatever means necessary. And I used to work for Texas Workforce, so I saw all the statistics of everything, of every demographic, of what job was better for whom. And in my work experiences where I learned, Malik, he's on fire. He's going to go from high school right to college, and he's going to go all the way through. You, maybe not. You might need 2 years of a break, and you might not be mature emotionally to go to college. But then in those 2 years, you go. But you have to have that push behind you. You have to have that encouragement behind you. And you have to give your kids that this is what worked for me and this is what didn't work for me. Now let's talk about what's going to work for you. Right. How do you feel about school? And I started giving kids that would come to me a test about what, a girl, I want to be a nurse. Okay, take this test. She don't like blood. She don't like feces. You're not going to make a good nurse, man. Yeah. Sorry. Let's see. This is what you scored on this test. You're going to do good in this field because of your likes. And that's not how parents talk to their children or think about their children. I learned early on that my daughter was a big history buff, loves history. I can't stand history because I'm tired of it repeating itself. And she loves it, and she uses it every day, talks about it with her kids, she reads them books, but she went into business. She's a business and a hospitality major and does it so well. But does she do it so well because she knows about her history? Does she do it so well because she knows of what's happened in the past and how people evolve and all this stuff and what war did to this group of people? And is that why she's so good at it? We have to ask ourselves and question ourselves and really critically think about the experiences we've had and how we've portrayed those to our children. And is that an encouraging portrayal, or is it I'm not going to do that, Mom?
I think to your point, first and foremost, communication is a foundation, right? And anytime that we open up the door to being vulnerable and having those conversations about ourselves and what we did or didn't do, and giving advice and asking them for feedback too, bringing your kids into the conversation and making them owners of their own destiny. Having those types of conversations with them is important. And I think that's good for our mental health and their mental health as well. So I know those conversations need to happen. With my mom, I didn't even know. This woman went and did all my applications. She did all my scholarship stuff. She did everything. I was just going to school, living my little life as a senior. And next thing I know, she's like, okay, you got accepted to these colleges and you got scholarships for all of them. Which one you want to go to? I didn't know how any of that happened, but my mom never talked to me about the college piece. She talked to me about education, making sure that I was in them books, making sure that I never brought books home from school. Never. And my mom would always be like, I ain't coming to you, never bring books home. I said, Mom, I make straight A's, Mom. I don't need to bring the book home if I'm making an A, right? She's like, you better stay in the books, yada, yada, yada. You better keep bringing home A's. As soon as I don't see an A, you bring that book home for that class. That even motivated me even more to do my work in school. But we had those types of conversations, not about how important college is going to be to you having a good life and being able to do things. But I think part of the trap with that, when we talk about the youth, is in our communities, we may be having those conversations with our parents, but what do they see? Quick money, fast money. And now it's getting worse. Like back in the day in the 80s, fast money to us was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Or a pimp. That was where the fast money was. Or are you good at football? Can you throw a basketball in a hoop? You know, maybe you'll go to the NBA or the NFL. That was your fast money.
Yep.
It wasn't like it is now. They're fast money. They think, like you said, it's lightning in a bottle. Everybody don't get all that money, but the perception of the youth now is that being online is fast money. If I open up my own shop, I'm going to sell 1 million shirts the first day. Nah, bruh. If I start a YouTube channel, I'm going to make thousands of dollars in the first month. Nah, bruh. If I do a gig, I can make enough money to have an apartment doing DoorDash. Nah,
Oh yeah,
bruh.
by the way, DoorDash is not a job. That's not a form of
That's what they
employment.
think. They think that's fast money for them. And that's what they want. They're after that fast cash. And all fast money ain't good money. As we know.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but
Like
we're
in
targeted
dominoes.
in that phase. I mean, and I'm not going to say just black people. I think white people, all these young kids is jumping on all over the internet and all these get rich quick schemes. But guess what? The oligarchs, the upper echelon of America, those old white men, the 80-year-old people tripping over sandbags, them dudes are happy
Yeah.
that you trying all these little get rich quick schemes. Because they just sitting up, they making the cotton, the tobacco, the firearms, all the stuff that you need and you buying with your little check that ain't paying the bills.
You know what they really did is they invested into the stock in that company.
Yeah.
And you just their portfolios are looking real nice with you jumping around and doing all that nonsense. At the end of the day, man, there's no easy way. I don't care what you do, and even let's say a TikTok influencer that makes money, they didn't do it easy. They had to get out there and they had to get thousands of followers and do all kinds of stuff to do that. There's no easy way through it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole deal. Now, when I talk to my kids, I talk to them about being practical. Hey, look, I'm a dreamer myself. I have dreams and things like that, but you got to be practical. You got to be able to pay for those dreams. So you got to do things. And, both my sons, I'm proud they're employed and they do their things and they're real smart guys. But a lot of people don't understand the practicality of what they need to do. Like you got to keep a job and have a job and be on that job to be able to do the things you want to do. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay if your goal is, hey, I want to be a digital creator. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It is. But it's going to take work getting there.
Yeah.
It may be a little easy if you had a marketing degree and kind of understood how to market. You know what I'm saying? Or at least read a book about marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do in the meantime to take care of that?
To your point about practicality, look, we got 3 40, 50-year-old people doing a podcast on YouTube and, Spotify. So we understand the attraction and the money that could potentially come from the work that we putting in.
Right.
But everybody at this table got a job.
Exactly.
This ain't how we making ends meet.
No.
This is
Yes, let's be clear.
this is additional work. We work hard every day at our jobs to pay our
Exactly.
bills and do things. This is a luxury
Yeah, I was gonna say
of
that.
us being able, all this stuff at this table, these cameras, this is a luxury
Yeah.
that comes from the
hard work you
foundation,
put in,
the
yeah.
hard work that was put in for us to be here and do this. And besides that, we all putting in work on social media.
Yeah.
This ain't the end. Just sitting here taping this.
Right.
This ain't the end of the journey. We making videos. We making shorts. We making reels. We posting stuff. We putting in work. And we just started this.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, if this didn't work, which I doubt that it won't, but if it didn't, we got
I
jobs.
still
We
got
got
a job.
something to
We got
fall back on.
jobs.
I got to be
Right.
somewhere Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
Yeah.
I got a YouTube channel that got 130,000 subscribers. I got a YouTube channel that got 50,000 subscribers. I got a YouTube channel that's got 8,000 subscribers. I got Facebook pages with 9,000. I know how to do this,
Right.
Yeah.
but I'm still not putting all my eggs in one basket. I ain't quitting my day job.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm done.
Right.
Waking up at 11.
Yeah.
I know if like my grandmama was alive and she's probably looking down, just shaking her head like, you got a nerve to talk about these youngsters, boy. I remember, I had to wake you up when you was 20 something. And I remember, and it's funny now because you understand what a blessing your grandparents were. But I remember being 20 something and wanting to sleep in, and my grandma, I don't care what was going on, come in there and wake me up, man. Hey, man, I'm off today, man. No, get up and blah, blah, blah. Just setting that tone and that expectation. So it's just now, I look back and I look now and I see like, you call somebody, it'd be like, oh, it was 2:00 in the afternoon. What are you doing? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
that practicality that we have to teach our children. Like, you were blessed that your mom went and did all that for you. Did you do that for your children?
Yes.
So your mom set a precedence for y'all's family. So you went and did all that. For when it comes to like school, you were smart. You could probably hear something once and remembered it, right? So you weren't one of those kids that didn't.
Sean was my only friend that got straight A's. Everybody else is C's at best.
But
Sean, I mean, you're right. He never had homework. We did. We just didn't do it.
I fell in the same thing with him. I never brought books home either, and I graduated in 3 years instead of 4.
I ain't know we had books.
In the top 10% still. So yeah,
I was cheating and getting girls to do my homework, man. I just was like, let's be real.
Do your kids know that? Did you talk to your kids about that?
Yeah, I let them know that.
Yeah.
I told them I held the door at graduation. I'm saying I barely got in. Like everybody, I held the door.
You had to put your foot in.
And my kids.
Hey, the first dude gave me his robe. You know what I'm saying? And hat. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have enough. So when he got done, he gave it to me. Yeah, hey, boy, you barely got in. Just hold this door. Let everybody else go first.
And nowadays our kids have where we could log on and see their grades. Our parents didn't have that. They had to wait for that little paper report card to come, right?
No.
So
You get a pink piece of paper first. It's called a progress report.
Yeah.
I used to hide it in my locker all the damn time. Then I got in trouble
or
for that.
learn how to forge your parents' signature.
Yeah, well, writing that R for Rita was pretty damn hard because she's got a unique R. But I had somebody on it, though. See, my skills was different in high school. I was learning to shuck and jive and hustle instead of getting in them books. Sean was studying. I was studying, too, but the wrong kind of study. Teaching people how to write my mama's R and all that, man.
Yeah.
No, you got it down, man. Just sign that.
Yeah. And
good.
so with me, I would log on and see my son has 15 missing assignments. What are you doing? Oh, Tina, I'll be okay. What are you doing? No, you won't. So I started going up to Jay. And I went to the class where he had the missing assignments. My son had a pen in his hand and would sit up like this. And he was asleep. I knew he was asleep. His teacher didn't know he was asleep.
I learned that trick too.
Banged on the window. And I said, get your butt up. And he's like, and this was after lunch. So it wasn't like a morning class. He should have been already up. He comes home with his report card and he has 106 in that class. 2 weeks ago, you had a negative. What are you talking about? How did you get 106? I just turned in all the work I didn't do. Why didn't you turn it in when it was due? Because I really didn't have to. As long as I turned it in before grades were due, I was going to get. And he was one of those kids that he could have a 0 and take a test and get 100 on the test.
Oh, yeah, I was like that.
And that precedence too happens with our kids where in high school, well, they didn't have to do that. High school's not preparing them for college. Because in college, if you didn't turn it in, you didn't turn it in. You hardly have a professor that's going to give you full credit for it if you did turn it in. In high school, here.
That's the funny thing. What you just said is that Walanda's in education, and we bring up those points that you just brought up about how some of these schools, their mission and in their mission statement or whatever you want to call it, it talks about preparing kids for college. I'm like, you're not preparing kids for college if you're saying, hey, you can write this essay on this. It'll make up for all the other work you didn't do this semester.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, go to Saturday school for 1 hour. It'll make up for all your absences. That's not what colleges do.
Yeah.
You got to be responsible. And if you going in with a mindset that you just walk through the door and the professor's going to give you a million chances, you're going to be sadly mistaken when you get that first grade.
You're going to be dropping out. That's what you're going to be doing.
Exactly. And it doesn't, we're not preparing them when we give them all these opportunities and no consequences for their behaviors.
Exactly.
And if I can still get 100 and do all of the work in the 6 weeks in the last week, what's the...
Do you know kids graduate with like 110s now?
Yes.
120s?
Because of APH classes.
No.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
They
get extra points.
Bruh, how can you have more than a 4.0 grade point average? You should not... These kids, I got a 4.8 grade... 4.8? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, and we're not preparing.
I was nowhere near that.
We're not preparing them from college either. If we're teaching to the whatever the state standardized test is called now, TASC, whatever it's called. They teach to that now. They're not teaching them biology. They're teaching them whatever's going to be on the TASC test. That's reference.